sir. How are you?
I'm doing great. What's up?
You look great.
I feel great. So that's a plus, right? Wow. It's been a lot of moving parts. But everything's going fantastic. I had knee replacement surgery 6 months ago. Now I've got my left foot. Both these things were 3 years ago a problem. And my addiction took over, and through Dallas and the help of several others, I've got sober for 18 months now. And with that journey come a knee replacement and a complete major left foot surgery. Hopefully that'll be it, and I can be back on the way.
You look, I mean, I saw you on the Jericho cruise, and you look fantastic, and you look healthy, and you look happy. I mean, happiness is the biggest thing, right?
At this junction, I can really see where somebody would be a year sober. At a year sober is where I realized this. At a year sober, it really could go either way for you. It could go, you know what? This last year wasn't so great. Addiction wasn't that big a deal, and I'm gonna go back to my old ways. Or it could be, wow, what a change, what a difference. Look what happened. And that's what happened to me. And I think that's what happens to anybody if they truly stay sober for a year. And that's what happened to me. It was, oh my God, every single step I took was a plus and a good thing in my life. So I kept going with sobriety, and sobriety is the answer.
Was part of that not being Buff Bagwell? I mean, obviously that's always going to be a part of you, but understanding Marcus, understanding getting back to who you truly really are, instead of trying to live up to the character.
There's a lot to that one. It really is. I think Buff gets a lot of blame for what went on, and really, I don't think it had nothing to do with it. I think if I was Marcus Alexander Bagwell at the junction of WCW, when I finally started speaking what I felt, it just happened to be Buff got the blame for it, I think. And he should have. But I think he gets a lot of heat. Buff gets a lot of heat where he really don't deserve. But the bottom line is, when you do speak up, there's things that come back on you, of course. And I spoke up, and I realized that by speaking up, it hurt me. I really thought that other guys were speaking up. So I thought, hey, I'll speak up too. And that quiet voice that speaks up finally, after being Marcus Alexander back on the locker rooms, it was really loud. And I didn't mean for it to be that loud, but it was. And it's life. I tried to apologize for my mistakes as I was going. But again, it's a lot of moving parts.
One thing about the video, and there's a lot of things about the video, because it really is. And again, people have to watch it. How important your niece was in this whole journey to get you back on track.
She was the start. She was the whole start of this whole thing. She's the one that really saw what was going on with me. She saw it years ago. I didn't even realize she was seeing it.
Well, what'd you say seeing it? Because some people don't know. So what, the addiction.
Yeah, seeing the addiction coming over. I was renting a house from Jonna, which she grew up in. And it was that right there alone was a giant deal that I just kind of overlooked as the place I was renting. But it was a place I was renting that my niece grew up in, So again, I didn't kind of respect what was going on, didn't really see it through my addiction, but she was all over me. And I didn't realize it with my drinking, with, my alcohol in the refrigerator, and she'd come over and take it away, and I'd go buy more. And she was trying to help, but she needed more help. And then that's when Dallas and Steve came in, and DDPY took over and kind of said, look, this is the deal. Either you get sober today, or I'm out of your life, your niece is out of your life, and you're on your own.
And that was when, after we had just done 4 months, and that'll be the part of Change or Die. You'll be able to see Marcus, and you see it in the video because we use a lot of that to explain where he came from. And the reason the connection's so strong with Jonna and him was his brother, was never there for her. And so Marcus, and I didn't know about this, until later she started telling the stories. would be there to pick her up from school and take her to cheerleading or whatever the situation was.
The Britney Spears concerts and the sleepovers.
Yeah, it was like you were the dad. You were
Yes.
that. You were the dad. And so when her mom said, we have to love him from afar because of the addiction, it really hit her hard, because now all of a sudden he's in, but he's out of her life. So it was really important coming in. And Marcus had reached out to me numerous times, but I wasn't ready to do it again in my house. So once we got the crew together and realized we're gonna shoot this change or die thing, I called them up and I said, all right, bro, you're in. Let's go for this ride,
Yeah, I think that's the problem is anybody that really wants to get sober, they're looking at like, they kind of want to get sober, but that first step, it's so huge and it's so hard to make. And I thought I was making the steps by reaching out to Dallas, and I was making them, but at the same time, people can't just stop their lies for your life. But that's what I wasn't expecting that, but I think I was hoping for that. And then somewhere in there, with Denise and Steve and Dallas, it kind of got together where it was definitely time to step in. And I was tired. I was ready. I really think the day they did their talk to me, intervention on me.
And this is after the show.
Yeah.
It's over. So we keep it going because, again, we're not just your production company that's filming this. Okay, we're done. Check the gate and we're off. It's like, if you're still willing to put the work in, we're still there. And that's why he had the change he had, why Butterbean had the change that he had.
Keys.
Yeah. They gave us the keys, to drive. And, when Marcus got out of rehab, he went right back to living in my place at the accountability crib. And then, he started to really mature. And what would you call it when you started to be accountable to yourself?
I think being accountable is the word. It really comes down to just knowing. I didn't really know how to act. I thought I did, and the way we acted for several years with WCW and what went on, I believe it worked. I believe it worked to be that buff character at times, and it was funny and ha. But then, just like in life, though, it changes, and you've got to be able to balance that. And I lost that balance, and through addiction, I lost that balance, and it just became a 24/7 wake up. And when the knee happened, it just was so depressing to me. I finally did what every addict does, what every addict you hear about does, and that is I isolated. I buried myself in the house. I kept doing my work, thinking I was doing my work on my calendars and stuff. I've seen several videos where I was passed out doing it, but I was trying to work through it, but it just got worse and worse, and the isolation was worse, and the addiction got worse. And drinking was really never a big problem for me, but it became my number one problem because it's the easiest to get, and it's the easiest thing to get to, and you can get to it as much as you want, as fast as you want. And after that, Dallas and them couldn't have came in at a better time. I really think they thought I was going to say no, but the day they came in was August 27th, 2022. And they said, look, you go today or it's over. And I felt ready. And they were like, you are?
And I want to reflect on the leg, because the pictures like of his leg. Originally, it literally looked like a piece of ribeye. And then over time, with getting a little bit better, it started to heal. The skin started to come together, and then it just didn't.
Yeah.
Because when he was working with us 4 days a week, 3 days a week on the road, he'd go right back to what he was doing, and he could hide it to a certain degree. So it's 2 years later at that time from the accident, and this cat's body has not healed. So when it doesn't heal and you can't get wounds to heal, it's obvious now that the booze and the pills you're putting into your body are keeping you from healing. So once he got that out, and it was still a journey, man, and it was a frustrating journey at times, but he put the work in, from his anger issues, which still are there,
Yes.
but it's going
What'd
to
you
take time.
But we saw that too.
6, 7, 8.
But you see that in the video as
Yeah.
well, where your personality, who you are, that doesn't happen overnight. It's gradual.
Sure.
I mean, it's I think a lot of people don't understand that takes time to fully recover.
You could have never told me that you could show me a video that I would look back on and that I would be somewhat embarrassed about. I look back on those videos and I'm blown away. That's not me. That's not Marcus Alexander Bagwell. And it's not Buff either. It is a person that just happens to be addicted to drugs and is lying to himself. That TMZ thing they pulled up, I don't even know what day, what year, what month that was, but I don't know what I was thinking when I was talking. I wasn't in great shape. I was in decent shape, but I'm talking like I look like Dorian Yates or Arnold Schwarzenegger. I mean, I'm like, you got to sit down and shut up. But I can't sit me down. And I can't shut me up because I've already done it. And then the tape where I'm all black and blue. Oh my God. It's humiliating. But it couldn't be a better thing to look at. Every time I look at my knee, every time I look at a video like that, all it does is gives me strength of what's to come. When getting in shape, when I got in shape the very first time, I remember going to the gym and going, oh my God, the journey is now just begun. Getting in shape was easy. It's kind of like getting sober. The journey starts now.
DDP, another guest has joined us. Buff Bagwell still here, but Scotty Riggs joins us here on Busted Open. Sir, thank you so much for the time this morning.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here, Dave. Pleasure to be Marcus, Dallas, whole 9 yards. Just beautiful thing, brother.
And Scotty, like looking at you now, and this is the first time I've met you, so it's a pleasure meeting you for a first time. Thank you. Pleasure.
Dave was very excited about being able to play American Males.
That's the worst song in the business.
Hey, Jimmy Hart, 30 years later, all the credit goes to him because
Thanks, Jimmy.
He created that thing. It's still either they love it, they hate it, but they can't forget it.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
It's unforgettable.
That I can't forget it.
But Scotty, look at you now. I mean, you're a damn handsome man. Like, and
I hear that all the time from Dallas and Marcus,
but I watched the video with you and your journey and the problems that you were having, in your life on every level. And then I look at you right now. Talk about this journey and talk about like when you decided, all right, now is the time. I'm accepting what's going on and I have to make a change.
Well, I mean, when it comes down to your personal life away from the wrestling ring, away from the lights and everything else, I had a situation with family with my mom who got ill, and for a 3, 4, 5 year period, her health kept going up and down, and I became her 24/7 caregiver. And I don't know if anybody else out there has ever dealt with that with a family member, and especially your parents, and you take that over. It can take a lot of your energy, a lot of yourself out of you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what happened to me after all the time when she finally passed away in 2020. I basically spent a year after that just in my mind. I thought I'm just going to reinvest in myself. I'll be okay. And I just became the biggest introvert, rarely texted, rarely kept up with anybody, and just never worked out. Tried to keep my DDPY yoga up, which helped me feel good, but I wasn't attaining any goals. I just slowly, the darkness, my depression, anything that could really bring me down, I just let it bring me down. And to a point where, again, if anybody's ever involved in a situation like that, I had invested so much back into my mom, back into helping her and giving what I could to her.
I think when you lost the house is when kind of everything really.
That's
right.
Just keep building towards Marcus. Is the fact I had to live in my car after being in the house, being in the family home, and we basically lost our family home, where all the money I had saved up to take care of my mouth, to take care of the house, take care of this, it was gone. And I just pretty much had checked out on life, where I had no light in my eyes. I wasn't working out. I wasn't doing this. I wasn't doing that. And I was just existing. as best I could. I just existed and just didn't even care. And I know Marcus had reached out to me about something about doing it with the dark side of the ring.
Mm-hmm.
And I sat back and went, I need to let him know now. I got nowhere to do an interview. I got nowhere to do none of that stuff. I'm living in my car. Got my mom at one last thing she asked me was take care of the cat. And so I had a cat in the car with me, myself, whole 9 yards. And even Dallas remarked about this. When Marcus called me up, I was so just in my depth of darkness and where I was. I just went, yeah, I'm living in my car. Yeah, no big deal. I'd accepted my fate.
Let me tell you how real that was. Because when I'm watching Steve put the stories together, because we create the stories, Steve tells the stories. Him and Dylan, they create these. They find the moments, and Marcus's original. We film it. We don't. When I went in the Hall of Fame, Jake came and told me, but he worked around it. That's real. They filmed it.
That's not a second take.
Like there's no second takes. So when Marcus is talking to Scotty, I go
take number one.
Yeah, but
Dallas don't know it.
I'm like, he sounds like nothing's the matter. Why are you using that? Go
redo it.
Because normally you'll go and just on something like that, it'll be like, okay, this happened before, but where was it? What was it really? Oh, that's what it was. He was so nonchalant about it. Like, I'm living in my car, and bottom line,
I'm fine.
Yeah, and we don't know. And we don't know at that time he's got a gun. We don't know that he's about to kill himself, but Marcus throws him that hand and calls him back. And Marcus, tell that part of that story.
At that stage, when we called we called Scotty, Steve goes, wait a minute, let's at least record this, So he puts, that's what they do here. They record magic. And what was happening on the phone, you don't know it 6 months ago, but it was magic happening. And I said, hey, bro, won't you come up here? And he goes, nah, I don't want to. I'm good. And it was just overwhelming to me that he would not nobody's never not taken the offer that I've given them, especially if it makes extreme good sense.
And money. And make them money.
And money. There's money to be made with Dark Side of the Ring. There's money to be made with the American males. And this is still thinking outside the box, not knowing he's going to look like, knowing he's going to look better than I ever looked. I didn't know that. But he has, and it's incredible. But at that junction, so we do the call, and he says, no, I'm good. I'm Mark Bagwell to give you any money isn't happening.
Your dealer.
But except my pill guy.
Yeah.
But at this junction, I was just starting to make money too. So I was really like, got my deposits and my withdrawals, and he needed tires. And I said, I'll pay for them. I'm in a house up here. I remember the total though. It was $500 and some. And I was like, I'll pay for it, man. You got to get up here. And it had nothing to do with the Dark Side of the Ring. It had to do that my buddy was living in his car. I'm like, what are you, I was mad. I go, what are you doing? I said, I'm in a mansion up here by myself that Scott Hall and Jake was in. I said, come up here. We'll take it. And it was all I could do, bro. I went on the road to Nashville that weekend. Me and my girlfriend, Stacy, was on the road, and she's helping me drive and get the credit card to the tire place. And I'm like, what am I doing? Is this really the right thing? And then it felt right. I was not going to let it go because it felt I didn't know I was trying to help him or save a life. I was just trying to get him out of the funk he was in. And then he accepted. He came up with us not knowing that he was suicidal. And his journey then began at the 2796 Moore Circle.
Hearing that and hearing your story, and even physically, like looking at you now and the transformation just physically.
Just gotta laugh.
And
you're
listen,
gonna pop that up when you see that, and then it becomes this, and then that, and now
it's kind of become, I guess, our little thing is like, okay, Dallas, you want to show them the before, and go about the phone, show them before, now show them the after. 6 months later, and it's the change is really, even in my eyes. Part of myself is I never want to become a burden to anybody.
That was a big problem. That was a big thing for Scotty. He didn't want to feel
so hard to accept any help from him because I was like, I don't want to burden him. No matter what was going on, if I didn't have it, I just didn't have it.
You learn to live without, because if you can't supply it yourself, you don't want to take it from somebody else.
I don't need it. I don't want it. And that was kind of what was going on with this. I told him, I said, well, wait till my disability comes in. I can get tires of my own. No, bro, get up here now. We'll see. And Marcus is going, he ain't coming up. I know him. He ain't coming up. About maybe 30 minutes later, I called him back, said, okay, I already called the tire place. I got an appointment first thing in the morning. Da, 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 da. He's like, as soon as you get there, when it comes to take care of it, we'll do that. But to get up here and to be able to start working out with these guys again, number one, again, I didn't feel worthy of it. It took forever. Dallas kept telling me, dude, make this house your own. Live in it like it's yours. And I had to walk around constantly looking, I deserve this. Am I supposed to be here?
He was really
They
beating
kept
himself
telling
up a
me,
lot.
they kept telling me, be here, be here. And I just slowly had to start accepting their grace to help me get better. And that's what it was. It was their grace. It was their hearts, that their love they gave me, that got me motivated and got me out of the depth I was in. And when I got here, it was about 242 with a 38-inch waist, shaped like this. And within the 6 months, because Dallas challenged me, he goes, dude, all I want from you is become the best you can be. And
that's how you pay him back, right?
That's how I wasn't a burden to him. That was his way of saying, hey, if you want to do this, all I want you to do is become the best you can be. And when I kind of got that, and I kind of started accepting where I was, looking around, looking at the crib, looking at Marcus, looking at Dallas, looking at Steve, looking at the guys we were working out with, everybody at the PC, the positive energy they were given, just the fact that I was so just in myself, in darkness, but there was so much light here. It's ridiculous. You probably feel it when you came in over here.
100%.
The energy they give, and they give it freely. And I just started accepting it. And became Marcus helped me with my diet. Steve helped me with working out. Every little thing. Dallas was, kicking my tail with DDPY yoga. Every time he worked me out, I'd take what he gave me and take it back to the crib. And Josh Nevers over there, one of Dallas's closest guys that helps him with the DDPY. And Josh would help me with my sciatica, all the little injuries things. Started taking me here, taking me there, get me a step more. And I just started embracing and going, well, if I'm going to pay Dallas back in any way, shape, form, or fashion, I'm going to bust my tail and blow his mind and do the best I can.
I mean, at first, brother, we couldn't get him to go play top golf. I go, why don't you want to go? He goes, my shoulders are hurt. I go, Scotty, I swing the golf club with one hand. I said, are you kidding me? I said, we just want you to get out. Nah, brother, I just don't want to. So he was really, really still a big introvert. And I don't remember Scotty being like that. So I was like, Scotty, so I was a little hard on him. I think at first I was like, Scotty, what are you doing? Come on, man, get going. Let's go, man. But I had no idea the engine I was cranking, bro. The next thing I know, I'm getting videos of him on the Stairmaster after an hour and DDPY right after that. I'm like, I'd be like, every time my inspiration, way to go get him, brother. I'm in there with a knee replacement. Go get him, Tiger. You're looking great.
That's awesome.
I have no idea that this is going to be the outcome. How I looked at it was this. I said, Scotty, I've won a bunch of battles in my life. I said, but you're winning the marathon, brother. Look at you. You're 56. You look better than I do. You are it, brother. I said, you need to be in a file cabinet with a production company. You need to get your 8x10 out there. You need to talk to Nadia to get on some film stuff. I've never seen a better looking head to toe 56-year-old man with a little bit of a resume and a damn good resume.
But that's why I wanted to bring it up. It wasn't a joke. When I said, when you first came on the set, I said, damn handsome man. The reason I wanted to say that, because I'm sure there was a time when that's the exact opposite of what you thought. And this is where I think it's an important story to tell here on the air today. We have a huge platform here on SiriusXM and with our podcast. I'm sure there's a lot of people that are out there, and I'm not even just talking about people that are dealing with alcoholism and addiction, but people that are ashamed of something about themselves, where they feel embarrassed about something about themselves, where they're isolating themselves because they're embarrassed about a particular thing about themselves. You dealt with that, with your teeth.
Yes.
Like where, you're afraid to go outside, or you're afraid to smile, or you're afraid to talk, because I'm sure there's people that deal with that, and you were dealing with that. And I'm sure that when people are hearing this, they might think that it's something small, but for you, that was a big deal.
It was major.
Scotty, before
major
you
deal.
let me set it up. So
Okay.
what ended up happening is, a year before this, before Scotty got there, we do our Positively Unstoppable Challenge every year. And one of our guys, who's one of our champions, he had just a few teeth because he was 540 pounds when he took a fall and knocked a bunch of them out. His name was Ken Spur. And I was trying to get a hold of a buddy of mine named Jarrett, see if there's any way the company like Teeth in a Day, could do something pro bono for this guy, Ken. What ends up happening is we leave the performance center and Paige opens up a box that has a video on it, and it's a veteran, and he is helping veterans get off the street, but he's got the same problem with his teeth. And this company, Nuvia, gives him a whole new lease on life with a brand new $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, whatever it is, mouth. And they say there's a letter that comes with it. We've been watching what you, Dallas, and your team have been doing to help other people. And we want to give you the time you can give it to any of your people you think deserve it. So I give it to Ken. And then when Ken is literally getting it done, it's right after WrestleMania last year, Scotty has moved in. And I know at the time, I don't know how bad it is, but I know it's bad enough. And I tell him about him. I said, this guy used to be one of the American Males. He was with WCW for like 10 years. Like, people know who he is, and he's a really great guy. I said, but he's not there. But if I can show you a transformation like Ken had, but just different, will you
wait and see?
Yeah. Will you do the same thing for them? And that's what they said. They said, let's see what happens. And then when they saw him, they came out here, they worked out with us together. And when they saw, they were like, we're flying you out tomorrow and getting you a whole new set of choppers. And this isn't dentures. These are implants where it's like taking a tire, put them zip, 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 zip. They do it in a day. And next thing you know, he's flying back, and now he looks
looking back on that.
George Hamilton. That's who it was.
George Hamilton.
George Hamilton.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Couldn't think of that name.
We've been on that for a week.
Well, tag guy.
Yes, of course. I know.
Yes,
George Hamilton.
everybody knows George Hamilton.
Couldn't think of who it was for the longest time.
George Hamilton. That is perfect.
But if you look at any of my pictures, any little meet and greets, anything I had done, or any pictures I even posted, how big was my beard going? Action.
Oh, it was out of control. The hair, the beard.
But the thing was, that was my security blanket because of my mouth. One step back was when my mom got ill, we had to refacet her whole house. And I actually put some money aside to take care of my mouth. But that money went to her to help transform her house and stuff like that.
Wheelchair ramps and stuff, right?
So here was a whole nother scenario. Again, not wanting to burden anybody with my mouth. I, even in the house, even in front of them, I would always just keep it muted, my mouth, and I never showed it until Mark's going, what's going on in your mouth? And I'm like going, I'd show it to him, meekly, mildly, and still not want to do it. I tried to even keep that hidden from them so it wouldn't be an issue. But as I kept growing and kept accepting the love, the grace they gave me, that I didn't deserve, but they saw more in me than I was seeing in myself. And that's one thing where hopefully, if anybody sees something out of this, that if somebody else sees something in you, accept it. Because, where I was checking out. But because of everything they gave me, it was amazing.
Worthy. Didn't think you were worthy. And I know, because we deal with this so much with so many different people in the program, you don't feel worthy. You have to change that story you tell yourself. Because I get choked up just thinking about it, getting you. But I got to also tell, Marcus skipped right over this because there's a lot of things, a lot of moving parts.
Moving parts.
So Marcus, I'm in Alaska at the time, and in the area I was in, there was no phones. And Scotty is like, he's trying to tell Scotty to come to the crib and stay in the crib. He's like, Dallas didn't invite me. He goes, well, he'll want you here. And so I don't know in the meantime till I get back.
So Steve goes, we got to tell Dallas, don't you? I go, well, yeah, I think we do. It's his house. So yes, we do. But Steve, the way Steve does it, he's magic. What he does, he's Yoda, brother. He is the Yoda of DDPY. And Steve, you said, well, we got to do it. So let's go talk to him. And I'm like, oh my God, I got to tell a guy that I've moved somebody into his house.
So there we go. So he's telling me the story And as he tells me the story, he hasn't told me he's moving around. I go, get in the middle of the story, him telling me, I go, well, let's get him here. And he goes, hold on. Hold on.
Oh, wait.
And when he told me the story that he'd called him, and I know how hard it is getting money out of Marcus, because you have set income and you've got X amount of bills, and but the addict guy would never have done that. Would never. Because the only thing an addict cares about is getting it to the dealer to get the shit.
Absolutely.
And the bottom line is, for him to have taken care of the tires, plus you gave him $150 for gas and get something to eat on the way home. I was like, man, it's exactly what, I don't want to say training him to do, but getting him to feel that and to know that he's invested in that too. And, he was going to be here till the end of last year. And I knew that was going to be, and Scotty coming in, I would say, listen, bro, this is your place. Just enjoy it and, feel worthy. And as the change started coming between the both of you guys, helping each other once again, like they did back when they wrestled together.
I mean, even talking about it now, the trials and tribulations that went through that 6 months, we make it sound real easy, right? But man, there was a lot of tears shed, brother. A lot of tears shed from Scotty, tears shed from me, my girlfriend and Stacy, talking as a team, as a unit at the crib. It was a process, brother. And I promise you, we were the closest thing to Scotty, and we didn't see that after picture coming. I can promise you. We knew something positive was going to come, and I was constantly in his ear, like, I would be doing abs, I would be doing legs. You got the best legs ever. I was constantly in his ear, but I didn't think he was really listening. But
plus,
he was.
Baggy, but he also wore baggy shit, so
he stayed covered up.
Couldn't see.
Yeah. And then he unveiled it at one night, about 2 weeks before I knew how good of a shape he was in. About 2 weeks before, he's at the gym doing shrugs. And I can see across the gym that with his shirt on, I said, man, he's gotten into really good shape. And I didn't know it, but then a couple weeks later we unveiled, and I was like, oh my God.
And this is with a torn rotator cuff.
Yeah.
He has to go and get surgery on. And that's the power of the power cups.
And drug free.
Yeah.
I'm talking about no TRT,
right.
All the words y'all want to spin on steroids. This is clean in the gym, protein diet intake that I gave him, that he knew, but I fine-tuned it. Steve used dedication and our ability to know what we're doing in the gym. I can tell you this, and I may be wrong, I don't think Scotty Riggs ever trained as hard as he trained this time.
But you know what made it easy was those power cuffs.
Yeah.
I know it sounds a little
it don't.
we're advertising it, but I mean, I look at it right now and go, this are the results of
your chest,
of everything, because of power cuffs with the torn rotator cuff that still needs surgery. But
power cuffs.
The most important thing is the power cuffs are enabling me to strengthen the shoulder, to minimize the pain, work out easy, work out intense,
lighter,
but intense. There's intensity with it, and get results without hopefully not having to do the surgery.
Yeah.
And stay in shape, getting healthy, and being able to move and be okay. I won't need the surgery because the power cuffs are enabling me to strengthen everything around it and keep shaping my body and getting results.
Now, when you go looking like from that,
it's,
you know what I mean? That's crazy.
Buff said he noticed
it's the worst before picture in the history.
I don't know. You haven't seen mine.
I'm being serious. If you said, hey man, let's do that 10 times. Let's try to get a worse picture than that. I don't think you could.
But you said you noticed when. For you, Scotty, when was it like, because, you talked about your hair, you talked about your beard, you talked about like just your physical appearance. When were you like at that moment when you looked in the mirror and you were like, holy shit, like, look at the work that I've done and now it's showing and it's paying off? When was that moment for you? I mean, and what was it like?
I'll still be completely honest. I still don't see a lot of what they see results wise.
Yeah, but there had to be a moment where you were like, holy shit, right?
What I was about to say was, the day, like I said, I always wore the long sleeve, my Cowboys gear especially.
Yeah.
All long sleeve shirts, kept everything covered. The day they made me, in a sense, okay, go tan, go do this, all these little things. When I finally took the shirt off and walked into the gym, we walked in LA Fitness, And the guys we slowly become friends with, they looked at me like this, their eyes were bugging out. Oh my God, what have you been hiding underneath there? That I actually looked in the mirror myself and went, wow, look at the results. I still need to work on my shoulders. Honestly, I said to myself, I still need to work on my shoulders. But man, it was the biggest, just everything boost. No matter what they've given me that day, they made me do that and avail myself in a sense. That was the biggest confidence boost that I got the whole time. They shaped me, they molded me, and then when they unveiled me, boom, it was phenomenal.
Well, Scotty, Buff, I want to thank you both for your sharing your story, because watching those videos, it's inspiring. And to see where you were and to see where you both are now, and different paths and different journeys, one battling addiction, the other one just like, bad timing, bad luck, everything happening. And then both of you saying, hey, this could be over tomorrow. And I may want it to be over tomorrow. And now having a new lease on life. Congratulations to both of you. And thank you for sharing the story. And thank you for inspiring, thousands of people who are listening to this interview right now.
I want to thank DDPY,
Big time.
because without DDPY, this and Steve U, the whole package doesn't get told. It doesn't get told properly. This is a true story, what happened on first take instances that you see with TMZ, with Scotty's phone call. This isn't fake. This is real life. But for them to be able to catch it and Steve U to be able to put it down, it's magic. DDPY is magic.
Wow. I can't say it any better than that. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. And we'll be talking to you soon.